Hi, this is Jackie from GrowWithNoName.com, and not long ago I had the distinct honor and pleasure of interviewing none other than Mike Geary, the author of The Truth About Six-Pack Abs and The Fat Burning Kitchen. And here are some of the things that he had to say.
For some reason, say I had a trip coming up or something like that, and I actually purposely increased my proportion of calories that were coming from nuts, and it just the body fat just drops off fast. I mean, because I would have, like, at night, I would have, my snack would be like, those are my three favorites, like walnuts, almonds, and pecans. But almost every nut is healthy for you. So, I mean, you get a lot of these random questions like, well, can I eat pistachios because I heard those were fatty and bad for you? No, I mean, they're all good for you. Pistachios are really good for you, too. Hazelnuts are good for you. They're all good for you.
Let me ask you this. Sorry, go ahead.
So, yeah, I mean, that was like an interesting kind of experiment I've done, too. I mean, I was actually eating more of this so-called fatty food, and it was actually helping me lose fat faster.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me ask you this really quickly on the subject of healthy fatty foods and nuts and all that stuff being, healthy for you. And I know this isn't actually a nut, but talk to me for just a quick second about soy.
Yeah, so that's soy is one of the biggest successes of food marketing that's out there, but it's also one of the biggest deceptions in my opinion. And you're going to hear a lot of debates back and forth on this, but I'll give you my opinion. For one, and these are facts too, and not just opinions, but soy is one of the most heavily laden with pesticides and crops that's grown out there. It's also one of the most genetically modified. Yeah. I don't know the exact percentages, but GM soy makes up a large portion of the soy that's out there. I'm sure you can find organic products, and that's a slightly different story. But in general, there's a lot of issues with soy. There's a lot of anti-nutrients in soy, and I won't start to list them because some of them have really long chemical names. And but
come on.
but there's some problems with soy. I will say that certain types of fermented soy, if they're organic, they may be okay. Again, in moderation. I wouldn't make every meal fermented soy like tempeh or natto or miso, but those can be okay in smaller quantities. But like isolated soy protein, some of the processed soybean oil is one of the worst things in the human diet right now, just because of the way that it's processed under high heat and using solvents like hexane and to extract the remaining soy oil out of the soy when it's pressed, and it oxidizes the omega-6 fats in it, makes them very inflammatory in the body. So there's a lot of reasons why soy is bad for you in general. Also, it tends to, and this is kind of controversial, but it tends to be highly estrogenic in nature, and I've heard, I've actually heard documented stories of several guys that developed gynecomastia, which is another word for man boobs.
Right.
And they didn't, when they finally found what was causing it, it was because they were drinking, 2 gallons of soy milk a week, and and possibly eating soy in other forms too, because it's so prevalent in our food supply when you're eating processed food.
Doesn't it also promote the adding on of belly fat as well, which is completely counterintuitive to what we're even been talking about all this time today?
Yeah, exactly. So the estrogenic nature of soy can contribute to making it really hard to burn off belly fat in particular, and can possibly trigger deposition of more body fat if you're really kind of overdoing the soy. And in some of the forms that it kind of concentrates those estrogenic compounds are in like soy protein isolate. But just in general, just know that to try and stay away from processed soy as much as possible. I'm not going to say that in small amounts, a little edamame here and there, or a little miso soup here and there, or something is going to really hurt you that bad. I mean, I'm not an extremist in that view, but overall, definitely stay away from processed soy.
Yeah, it's one of the things I completely cut out. And when I was just the side of seeing my abs, just the side of it, then I discovered the whole. I paid more attention to the whole soy thing, because I used to love to just sit down and eat like a whole bunch of edamame as a snack, just like every single day. And, I was a bit heartbroken when I heard that soy had this controversy around it. And so I thought, okay, well, let's just drop it. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of my life here. Let's just drop it and see what happens. And, in conjunction with everything else I was doing, I don't know if dropping soy in and of itself, I can give it full credit. I certainly can't. But I think it was probably one of the things that helped in getting my stomach fat down, because I was lean, but I still had that whole, I've still got this little bit of fat on my stomach that just won't go away, so it definitely was one of the things, one of the strategies I employed, and I believe it helped me. So another thing I just want to quickly touch on before we move on is I keep hearing people telling me they're going to go on a juice cleanse, or they're going to, start doing those awful meal replacement shake programs, where the ones where they have a healthy shake for breakfast and a healthy shake for lunch, and then have a sensible dinner. And it just makes me crazy, because I try to talk to these people about the concept of drinking your calories, and it just goes in one ear and out the other. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I think most of those things the marketers are just trying to come up with some kind of angle that makes it sound like some revolutionary, detox cleanse or whatever that's, just going to, clean out your insides, and the fat's just going to start melting off. And I wouldn't fall for any of that. I mean, just focus on eating, like I said, whole, natural, unprocessed foods, organic if possible, and and drink water, drink unsweetened iced tea, drink drinks that don't have any calories. Juices are probably one of the worst things. If you're looking to lose body fat, the last thing you want to do is be taking in a lot of your calories in the form of juice, because then, I mean, it's basically become a processed food. You've taken a fruit, which in its whole form is going to be good for you because it has fiber and it has a lot of other things that work synergistically together to satisfy your appetite, satisfy your body's nutrition needs. When you extract just the juice, you leave all of that behind, and you're just getting the calories. And you might be getting some of the micronutrients, sure, but you're getting a lot of calories and not really getting a lot of, that satiating, helping to control your appetite. So juices, I'd stay away from. Just stick with whole fruits. I mean, think about it. You could guzzle 500 calories worth of fruit juice or some kind of juice, even if it's one of these new exotic, goji juice or acai juice or whatever. Doesn't matter. You can guzzle 500 calories of that and still be hungry. But if you tried to eat 500 calories worth of apples, or you're going to have to eat like 5 apples. Yeah.
Well, obviously the interview is a lot longer than this, so if you want to hear the rest, just head over to gwnn.me/Mike Geary Talks, and you can check out the whole interview there.